Hello, hi. Today's IELTS lesson, the topic is sports. We will study part 1, part 2 and part 3 of the topic sports. We all have a relationship with sport. We might watch it, play it, or try our best to avoid it. Because it's such an important subject, you may find yourself being asked questions about sport in the IELTS speaking exam. Part 1, speaking questions, we always answer with 2 or 3 sentences response. The first question, part 1, do you do any sports? The student replies, not really. No, I always say I'm going to take up exercise and try to get into shape, but I never seem to get started. I sometimes wonder whether I should get a personal trainer, someone who will sort out a fitness program for me and make me train hard. A great reply. All of the responses or answers are 8 or above in this lesson. Some great vocabulary used in this response, starting with to take up exercise. To take up exercise means to start. If you take up anything, you are starting it. To start doing exercise. To take up exercise. The student says, to get into shape. To get into shape means to become fit. Start working out. Get your body into a good shape. To get into shape. The student uses a personal trainer, a sports coach that helps you on a one-to-one basis. This is a personal trainer, works directly one-to-one with you, a personal trainer. The student says a fitness program. A fitness program means a schedule of activities to keep fit. To train hard. To train hard with a lot of effort. To work out at a high level. To train hard. The second question, part 1. How do you spend a typical weekend? The student replies, I'm a big football fan, and weekends always center around a football match. I support Chelsea FC and have a season ticket. So I go to most of the home games and quite a few of the away games too. I'm really looking forward to the new football season starting soon. The second question, part 1. How do you spend a typical weekend? The student replies, I'm a big football fan, and weekends always center around a football match. I support Chelsea FC and have a season ticket. So I go to most of the home games and quite a few of the away games too. I'm really looking forward to the new football season starting soon. A football fan. The student uses this in their response. A football fan is someone who likes football. A football fan. A football match. A football match is a game of football. A football match. Then the student uses a season ticket. A season ticket means a ticket that gives you entry to most of a team's home games during the sporting year. A season ticket. The student says, a home game. A home game is a football match played in the team's own stadium. A home game. An away game. An away game is a football match played in the opposing team's stadium. An away game. The student speaks about squash courts and tennis courts. The surface where you play these sports are called squash and tennis courts. Third question, part 1. The examiner asked the question, have you got any hobbies or interests? The student replies, yes. I'm really keen on sports. I do judo once a week and play tennis in the summer. I think it's really important to keep fit. It makes you feel good and energized for work and for your studies. The student says, I do judo. To do judo means to learn the martial art. To do judo. We don't say go judo or play judo. This is incorrect. I do judo. The student also says, I play tennis. To play tennis means to enjoy playing the game of tennis. We don't say do tennis and we don't say go to tennis. I play tennis. The last vocabulary in this answer, the student says to keep fit. It's really important to keep fit, the student says. To keep fit, to stay in good physical condition. To keep fit. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these videos. Thank you. Now let's move to part 2. Part 2, we must speak for 2 minutes on a topic that the examiner gives you. Our topic today, sports. Describe a place you like going to in your leisure time. You should say what this place is, when you go there, what you do there, and say why you enjoy it there so much. The student replies, I'd like to talk about my local sports center. It's a place I spend a lot of time in. It's a new building with all the latest sports facilities. I probably go there at least twice a week, sometimes more often. It's a huge place. There's an outdoor athletics track and some football pitches. I play football, so I often out there. There are several indoor squash and tennis courts that I use occasionally. A big swimming pool, although I don't use that very often. I'm not a very strong swimmer. There's a gym, lots of things really. Why do I enjoy going there? It's just a really fun place to be. There's a good social side to it. You can enter competitions, meet up with other people who want to do the same sports. And because there are so many activities on offer, it gets you interested in different things. For example, I was listening to some people talking about training to run the marathon. I've decided I might even think about that. I go jogging a couple of times a week, so it would give me something to aim for. So yes, the sports center, that's the place I really like to visit. A great response. The first vocabulary, a sports center, a public building where people can do various sports, a sports center. Then the student uses sports facilities, the equipment and services needed to do a sport. Sports facilities. The student says, there's an outdoor athletics track. An athletics track is a track we use to run on. An athletics track. Football pitches. A football pitch is the surface on which you play football. A football pitch. Play football. This is when we enjoy a game of football together. Play football. The student speaks about squash courts and tennis courts. The surface where you play these sports are called squash and tennis courts. A swimming pool. A swimming pool is the place where you swim. A swimming pool. The student uses a strong swimmer. The strong swimmer is somebody that can swim well, a strong swimmer. To run the marathon. To run the marathon means to run a distance of 42.195 kilometers. This is a marathon. To run the marathon. The last vocabulary, the student says to go jogging. To go jogging means to run around the streets. To go jogging. Part 3. Next, we will answer part 3 questions. Part 3 questions we must answer with 3 or 4 sentence response. The first question the examiner asks, should people be encouraged more to take up sports? The student replies, I think young people should be given the chance to discover which sport they may like. Watching sport is sometimes a good way to get people started. Not on TV, but actually getting out. Take athletics, for example. They could go to an athletics meeting. There are so many different sports on show, one might interest them. An athletics meeting. This is an event where various athletic sports are held. An athletics meeting. The second question, part 3. Why do some people enjoy participating in sport more than others? The student replies, that's a good question. I suppose some people are more concerned about their health. They can't stand the thought of being out of condition. Other people might be driven to excel. They want to set records or get personal bests. A great response. The student says, to be out of condition. To be out of condition means to not be physically fit. To be out of condition. The next vocabulary, to set a record. To set a record means to achieve the best result in a sport. To set a record. A personal best is to achieve the best personal result so far in a sport. A personal best. Our third and final question on part 3, Topic sports. The examiner asks, which sports do you think are best for people who aren't used to physical activity? The student replies, well, I think people like this should avoid strenuous exercise. So things like circuit training are definitely out of the question. Maybe just a brisk walk every day, or swimming is always a good way to get started. The student says strenuous exercise. Strenuous exercise means exercise that needs a lot of physical effort. Strenuous exercise. And the last vocabulary today, a brisk walk. A brisk walk means a fast walk. A brisk walk. Thank you for watching and learning with us with the topic of sports. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And see you next time. Bye-bye.